Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad said, whoever goes through a hardship and he complains and he's not patient, then he is accusing Allah in His wisdom. He's accusing Allah's wisdom, that Allah doesn't have wisdom.
We're allowed to express our emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be deeply, deeply saddened because of what happened. That doesn't mean you don't have sabr. If you considered your case closed, then we'd be doing your janazah right now.
Another form of patience is that you are patient with whatever befalls you in this life, whatever comes your way. That's the nature of this life. No one will live this life in a state of ease. No one. Even if you live a life of affluence, hardship and trials will come to you from a different kind. If you're not tried with financial hardship, Allah will try you with emotional hardship. Allah will try you with relational hardship and social hardship. Allah will try you with personal hardship. Allah will try you with other calamities. So that's the nature of this life. Don't expect more from this life. True happiness, true tranquility and peace can only be found in Jannah, in paradise. This life was not created for you to live happily ever after. It wasn't created for you to have an easy life throughout the stages. No. If life is treating you so rosy and so well and is so easy on you, there's something wrong about you. You might have lost your mind. You might be living in your imagination, because life is going to be hard. And it's not going to be hard all the way. There are ups and downs, and this is how life works. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. And these are the days that we alternate between people. So Allah is going to alternate. Your life is going to be times of ease and times of hardship. So in order to handle this fluctuating nature of life, you need a lot of patience. Patience so when good things come to you, you don't transgress. You don't oppress others. You don't take advantage to the negligence of other rights. And when life treats you harsh, you do not lose hope. You do not fall in despair. You do not lose hope in Allah's mercy. You do not complain about Allah. Al-Fudayl ibn Iyad said, whoever goes through a hardship and he complains and he's not patient, then he is accusing Allah in His wisdom. He's accusing Allah's wisdom, that Allah doesn't have wisdom.
When somebody passes away and the mother or the child or the spouse is crying and they're overwhelmed and they're not eating and they're not talking and they're by themselves, and no matter how much you try to cheer them up, they're still in tears. And no matter how much you try to take them out or change their, maybe get their mind off of what's happened or something, and they just can't let it go. And they find themselves crying over and over and over again, then it's a natural tendency for a lot of us to go to those people and say, really you should have sabr. Why don't you have sabr? And I'll tell you, this is a very common thing that we do in the ummah. When people are experiencing a traumatic situation, it's easy for us to, and when they react and when they have emotions, we tend to say to them, I wish you had more what? Sabr. Like this is the advice we give to each other. And I find a lot of times that advice is actually not based on Allah's book. First of all, instead of giving them a lecture on sabr, Allah highlighted what? Shukr, gratitude. That's first. Second of all, what I'd like to highlight to you is the case study of Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub alayhi salam lost his child for a very long time. And losing a child, at least the child died and there was a janazah for the child. There's closure, the case is closed. At least the child is in the hands of Allah. The child is in a better place. There's something that gives you comfort. In the case of Yaqub alayhi salam, does he know that the child has died? He has no idea what's happened with this child. He doesn't know if he's alive, if he's hungry, if he's scared, if he's in pain, if he's injured, if he's bleeding, if he's being oppressed, if he's being hurt by somebody. He doesn't know anything. That can drive any sane person insane. To not know what's going on with your child. That kind of pain is indescribable. It's indescribable. And of course, his first reaction when he heard the news that he won't be seeing his child again was فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. The only beauty left now in my life is patience. That's all I can do, because the beautiful child is gone. So the only beauty left now is patience. But you notice years go by, and what do his sons say about him? Tallahi tafta'u tadhkuru Yusuf. We swear to God, are you going to keep remembering Yusuf? Are you going to keep missing him like we just lost him yesterday? It's been years, get over it already, old man. They were frustrated with their father because their father would not get over it. And as a matter of fact, many of you know, he cried so much that what happened? He lost his eyesight. The Quran doesn't give him a lecture on sabr. The Quran doesn't care, don't cry. You need to be patient. And this is the man who himself said, I am going to be what? Patient. I'm going to have sabr. Those are his words. He's the Quran's role model example for what does it mean to live a life of sabr. Because it's one thing that you go through a trauma for a day, or you go through a trauma for a month. It's another to experience that trauma every single day, not knowing, for years and years and years and not know. That's a different kind of trauma. And this man faced that trauma. And he cried and he lost his eyesight. And yet the Quran is saying this was a man of sabr. What am I trying to get at? We're allowed to express our emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to be deeply, deeply saddened because of what happened. That doesn't mean you don't have sabr. That just means you're a human being. Sabr is something else. We make it into something else. Let me try to be very clear. It is almost as though we say that sabr means that you are not allowed to have these emotions, or you must hold these emotions back completely. Because if you have these feelings and you have this sadness, that means you must not have sabr. That's not what sabr is. Sabr actually is that even though you're sad, even though you're scared, even though you're angry, even though any of those emotions are there and they're valid, you still did not cross the line. You still didn't become ungrateful. You still didn't disobey Allah. You still didn't say the wrong thing. When you're very angry, it's too easy to use bad words. Sabr means not that you're not angry anymore. Sabr means you were able to not use those words. You're allowed those emotions, but you channel them in a healthy way. You expressed your anger in a more articulate way, in a more decent way. The same thing with your sadness, the same thing with your fear. When these emotions take hold of you, it's too easy to disobey Allah. It's too easy to become ungrateful to Allah. It's too easy to deny the teachings of the Deen. For example, people say the worst things when they're upset. They say the most horrible things when they're angry. Sabr would mean you're still upset, but you still held your tongue. Actually, the original meaning of the word sabara, I was just looking it up on my way here again, is habasa, is to hold something back, is to control something. Quran is teaching us sabr is control, but it's not control over your emotions. It's control over the actions. That the emotions are valid, the actions are that which we have to control. And crying, being sad, being upset is not one of them. Now, why do I feel so compelled to share this with you? Because I consider it a form of oppression, that we take people that have lashed out, people that have become upset, people that have become sad, and we make them feel like now not only are they emotionally out of place, they've got a spiritual problem too. They don't have a spiritual problem. Don't accuse them of having a lack of iman or a lack of sabr. Stop living a life of guilt, constant guilt. Allah forgives. Make istighfar if you've made a mistake and move on with your life. Don't let that guilt overshadow everything you do. It will ruin not just you, it will ruin the people around you. You're not going to be able to have normal relationships if you live in that kind of guilt. You won't just be sorrowed yourself, you'll become a source of sorrow for people around you. Don't do that. Become a person of gratitude. Allah has given us in this life, Allah has given us a chance to make up for our mistakes. This is why we're still alive. If your chance was over, you wouldn't be alive anymore. The fact that He gave you another breath, another chance, is because he still has the door open for you. He still has love and mercy for you. If He considered your case closed, then we'd be doing your janazah right now. That's just the fact of it. May Allah Azza wa Jal help us really internalize the inspiring, beautiful message of His book and not become more judgmental than Allah's book itself towards one another. May Allah keep us from being oppressive to one another, especially within the context of our families.
So part of patience is to be patient and to be persistent in your worship for the sake of Allah. When everything seems to be against you, when holding on to the true religion and the true guidance that came to us from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it becomes difficult for you to observe the 5 daily prayers, when it becomes difficult for you to focus and bring about your heart and your mind and experience khushu' in salah, when you're striving to achieve this, that's patience.
We hope you will continue to enjoy our content. Don't forget to subscribe, and by pressing the bell next to the subscribe button, you will receive updates and notifications. Thank you.